In this video, we'll explore the origins of the Vulcan Mind Meld, and we're starting right now. My name is Jeffrey, and welcome to Metatrek, where we take exploring science fiction to the next level. The Vulcan Mind Meld did not yet exist when Star Trek first aired, which explains why, in Star Trek's premiere episode, Spock says,
"Recommend we use truth serum, Captain. Truth serum, Captain. Truth serum."
Is that your best recommendation?
I regret that I can find no other logical alternative.
The Vulcan Mind Meld may never have existed had it not been for the budgetary limitations and network censorship involving a critical scene in the episode Dagger of the Mind, where Spock and McCoy have to confirm the claims of a deranged man named Simon Van Gelder, which, if true, means that Kirk is in grave danger on the planet below.
Now Captain Kirk is going to have a complete demonstration.
The problems began when scriptwriter Shimon Winselberg, who essentially co-created Lost in Space with Irwin Allen, submitted a story outline filled with sci-fi gadgets and devices that better suited a pulp science fiction magazine, devices that Star Trek's prop department couldn't possibly afford to construct. Star Trek's producers eventually pared the devices down to just one, the neural neutralizer, which became the ultimate source of Kirk's danger down on the planet. One of the devices they omitted was called the Truth Beam. The Truth Beam was a hypnosis device described as a spinning color wheel that Spock and McCoy would have used to extract crucial information from Van Gelder's tortured mind. Removing the Truth Beam proved to be important not only to the development of the Mind Meld, but to the development of the neural neutralizer as well. But more on that later. After the Truth Beam's removal, Roddenberry assigned Spock the task of hypnotizing Van Gelder the old-fashioned way. That is, until the CBS censors intervened. Worried that audience members might inadvertently become hypnotized along with Van Gelder, they insisted that the hypnosis be performed out of context or off-screen. They also viewed hypnotism as a medical procedure, and unless it could be established that Spock was qualified to do so, they wanted Dr. McCoy to perform the hypnosis instead.
I understand.
Roddenberry could have acquiesced and given McCoy the job of hypnotizing Van Gelder, but Roddenberry had been looking for a way to showcase Spock's hypnotic ability, an idea he'd been toying with for some time, and which he detailed in this memo from May 1966. Roddenberry suggested that on the planet Vulcan, hypnotism was, and I quote, part of the sex act. In the same memo, he went on to write, Spock's hypnotic look strongly affects Earth females, and he goes to great pains to avoid too much contact with them. There is a backstory on this. Many years ago, when Spock first joined the service, he was careless on this score, perhaps even enjoyed the strange ability over Earth women. But it quickly created both personal and professional troubles.
Spock, I don't know what you think you're doing, but this is an order.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so what?
I don't think so, sir.
Leonard Nimoy, in his book I Am Spock, stated that Leela Kalomi from This Side of Paradise was undoubtedly one such conquest. Spock's hypnotic effect on women was also hinted at in the song that Uhura sang in the episode Charlie X.
Could rip your heart from you.
Here's the pertinent line.
At first his look could hypnotize.
Having Spock's hypnotic ability only affect human females would have seriously limited its potential across the series. But the network's issue with hypnosis prompted Roddenberry to take Spock's hinted at telepathic ability and expand it into the much more versatile Vulcan Mind Meld. By creating the Mind Meld, Roddenberry solved his problem with the censors. To make certain of this, he added this line of dialogue.
This will not affect you, Dr. McCoy. Only the person I touch. It is not hypnosis.
The Mind Meld also made Spock a much more interesting character. And according to Leonard Nimoy, the Mind Meld gave an otherwise dull interrogation scene some added energy. Let's listen to him describe it in his own words in this excerpt from his book, I Am Spock.
Even more intriguing than the Vulcan neck pinch was the Mind Meld, a Gene Roddenberry invention. It debuted in Dagger of the Mind. Originally, there was a dull expository scene in which Van Gelder was interrogated at length in sickbay. To make it more dramatic, Gene came up with the Vulcan Mind Meld. Spock uses his fingers and hands to probe Van Gelder's face and skull. It was a far more dramatic way to extract information than a lot of questions, and it became a popular device for the show's writers.
And so the Mind Meld was born, albeit along with its evil fraternal twin, the neural neutralizer. Let's take a closer look at how they're connected. As I indicated before, both originated with the truth beam. Here's how. When the truth beam was removed, its function was divided in two. The Mind Meld resulted from the narrative function of the truth beam, the need to extract information from Van Gelder, being combined with Spock's as of yet unused telepathic ability. And the neural neutralizer resulted from the mechanical function of the truth beam, the beam itself, being combined with the grisly thought machine that Dr. Adams was to have initially utilized. When the neural neutralizer became the source of danger for Kirk, it also ironically became the sole reason for the Mind Meld, which was to verify the danger that it posed to Kirk. But where the Mind Meld went on to be a permanent staple of Star Trek, the neural neutralizer only appeared in this one episode. Roddenberry's creativity thrived under the limitations and restrictions he faced as a television producer in the 1960s. He used these limitations as a catalyst for new and innovative ideas. The Mind Meld is but one example of this. In fact, the Vulcan Mind Meld is a perfect example of the axiom, necessity is the mother of invention. In the next video of this series, we'll examine how the Mind Meld was utilized across the original and animated series and see if any interesting patterns or insights emerge. Until then, live long and prosper.